The gods of ancient civilizations were not metaphors, they were descriptions, and each one corresponds to a specific alien race you've already heard of. By the end of this list, you'll be certain about it. 7. Those who came from the sky, the Nordics. In 1976, linguist Zachariah Sitchin translated Sumerian tablets describing the Anunnaki, those who from heaven to earth came, not as abstract gods, but as physical beings with advanced technology. Sumer, 4000 BC. Bright objects descend from the sky, no sound, controlled. From them emerge tall beings, over 2 meters, translucent glowing skin, blonde hair, piercing blue eyes. Nordic Pleiadians, telepathic communication directly in your mind. We will teach. They teach irrigation through geometric channels. They teach planned agriculture based on precise lunar cycles. They teach base 60 mathematics that you still use today to measure time. They show advanced astronomy, including Neteru, a planet invisible to the naked eye but with a documented 3,600-year orbit. And they show how to write, symbols in wet clay, cuneiform. For the first time in human history, thoughts don't die with the thinker. Benevolent. Teachers, saviors, but text record. They didn't come alone. The next ones demanded something the Nordics never asked for. Not gratitude, absolute submission. 6. Those who demanded worship, the tall whites. Description corresponds to the Egyptian Neteru. Egypt, 3000 BC. You are a priest. The beings are still here, but different now. Taller than the previous ones, ranging from 1.80 meters when young to 2.50 meters when ancient. Skin white as chalk, not translucent like the Nordics. Enormous blue eyes partially wrapping around the head. Strangely robotic movement, too precise. And they live centuries. Witnesses claim the same individuals are seen for 800 years. They demand worship, precise dawn rituals, specific offerings. Miss a syllable, people called to the temple at night, never seen again. Fede, pyramids pointing to Orion, Sirius, 80-ton blocks, perfect fit, impossible construction. Why would gods need worship? Charles Hall documented in Nevada that the tall whites demand absolute respect from any human working near them. They possess weapons that look like magic wands but instantly paralyze the human nervous system. And he revealed something disturbing. Agreement with American government exists since the 1700s. They provide access to advanced technology in exchange for something the government doesn't reveal publicly. You look at today, leaders demanding worship, personality cults where questioning is treason, algorithms amplifying authority, crowds kneeling for figures they've never met. Worship never stopped. We just don't call it by name. But worship controlled minds. The next ones wanted more. They wanted your body, your blood, and they wanted you to offer it voluntarily. 5. Those who demanded sacrifice, the Reptilians. In 1519, Spanish conquistador Hernán Cortés documented something historians prefer to interpret as ritual exaggeration. Aztec temples with drainage channels specifically designed to drain human blood, walls covered with layers of dried blood centimeters thick. Mesoamerica, 1200 BC. You are an Aztec priest. The obsidian knife is in your hand. Ribs open with precise movement. Still beating heart is torn out with specific torsion. You raise it to the sky for Quetzalcoatl, the feathered serpent. The codices, Borgia and Florentine, describe Quetzalcoatl with unmistakable details. Skin covered with green bronze scales reflecting light like polished metal. Vertical reptilian eyes that blink laterally. Body that shapeshifts before witnesses. Sometimes humanoid standing 2.5 meters, other times serpentine crawling a full 6 meters. Sahagun's records, 20,000 sacrifices per year in Tenochtitlan alone. Special festivals, 80,404 consecutive days. Without blood, the sun doesn't rise. Simon Parkes, ex-British counselor, 1987, claimed lifelong contact with reptilians. They always wanted blood. Not for the chemical substance, for the electromagnetic frequency of terror at the exact moment of death. It's energetic food. Public sacrifices and pyramids stopped, but the rituals didn't. They were just transferred to the shadows. Bohemian Grove has operated since 1872 to this day. global elite gathers annually in remote California forest. They conduct a ritual called cremation of care before a giant 12-meter owl. Hooded figures surround ceremonial fire. American presidents attend, CEOs of global corporations attend, world leaders attend, all participate in the same ritual. Skull and bones at Yale. Initiation ceremony happens in closed crypt. Human bones are part of the ritual. Blood, even if symbolic today, is spilled. Lifelong oaths are made, and members of this society later occupy positions of absolute power in the world. You think they stopped demanding blood? Wars feeding industrial complex? Children disappearing in unexplainable numbers? Human trafficking on a scale no one can stop. The terror continues, the frequency continues, just changed from public temple to invisible operation. 4. Those who created man, the Anunnaki. Archaeologist Austin Henry Layard, 1849, discovered 30,000 tablets, the Enuma Elish, human creation as a laboratory process. Babylon 2000 BC, the creation text doesn't describe magic, it describes scientific experimentation with documented failures. Enki created primitive worker. First attempts, creatures without strength and limbs. Following ones, blind with malformed organs. Others, insufficient brain. Until the 15th attempt produced viable result. Enki crossed terrestrial primate DNA with Anunnaki genetic material, created Homo sapiens with specific purpose, so that gods wouldn't have to work in the deep mines extracting gold. Adapa was the first truly wise human. Enki gave him intelligence far superior to the other Lulu Amelu. But when it came time to decide about immortality, Enki deliberately sabotaged it. Created a test Adapa would fail on purpose, ensuring even the most intelligent human remained mortal. They wanted controllable workers, intelligent enough to operate complex technology, but mortal enough to obey through fear of death. But if they created us as workers, why did factions fight for control? Vedic texts reveal we were disputed territory. 3. Those who controlled civilizations, war. Mahabharata, translated 1875, describes aerial warfare with details nuclear physicists recognize. India, 1500 BC. Flying machines called Vimanas cut through the sky at impossible speeds, and you clearly see who pilots each side of the battle. Rama descends from the golden vehicle that shines like a second sun. On the opposite side, Ravana commands a fleet of dark ships. 10 command towers open, revealing not one creature with 10 heads, but 10 distinct commanders. Draco Reptilians, dark green scaly skin, vertical eyes. Agnya weapon, single projectile charged with all the power of the universe. Incandescent column of fire, bright as 10,000 suns exploding simultaneously. Corpses so burned they became unrecognizable. Hair and nails falling without apparent cause in following weeks. This isn't poetry, it's eyewitness description of nuclear detonation. Archaeologist David Davenport investigated the ruins of Mohenjo-Daro in Pakistan in 1996. Found radiation levels 50 times above normal. Vitrified stones melted and resolidified at temperatures above 1500 Celsius. Exactly the period the Mahabharata places the Vimana Wars. Earth wasn't shared habitat, it was disputed property. Humans weren't allies, they were resources. And today, mad doctrine, mutually assured destruction, nuclear powers with arsenal to vitrify the planet 50 times over, treaties neither side intends to honor. The gods' war never ended. From visible Vimanas to influence through invisible human governments, you're in the middle of a millennial war. Neither side cares if you die in the process, but why did they fight openly and then disappear? Or did the final phase require total invisibility, infiltration so deep you can't distinguish them? Greek demigods reveal the tactic. 2. Those who disappeared, hybridization. Fine. German scholar Karl Ottfried Müller, 1831, catalogued 157 Greek demigods. Systematic program. Greece, 400 BC. Zeus doesn't descend anymore. Athena doesn't walk anymore. Gods completely absent. But when you read texts written just 500 years earlier, they describe something radically different. Constant physical interaction. deliberate and systematic mating between gods and humans. Hercules, Perseus, Achilles, all documented with characteristics impossible for pure humans. Superhuman strength capable of feats 10 normal men couldn't achieve, superior intelligence solving problems wise men couldn't understand, longevity of 150 to 200 years when average life expectancy was only 35, and you perceive the mathematical pattern of genetic dilution through generations. First generation, direct demigods, 50% divine, 50% human. Second generation, children of demigods, 25% divine, 75% human. Third generation, 12.5% divine, 87.5% human. Fourth generation, only 6.25% divine, 93.75% human. Progressive dilution until externally you can't distinguish from normal population. But the DNA is there, dormant markers waiting. Human Genome Project 2003, 8% of human DNA is viral unknown. 145 genes without evolutionary ancestor. Nobel laureate Francis Crick proposed directed panspermia, life intentionally seeded. If 8% of our DNA is theirs, and DNA can be activated by external signals, what happens when they send the signal? How many humans carry markers? How many would feel change in capabilities, perception, loyalty? Demigods were generation 1. You might be generation 20. But the code is there, waiting. And when you connect all levels, teachers, worship, sacrifices, creation, wars, hybridization, you realize you weren't studying history, you were reading Operation Manual, Millennial Infiltration Protocol. 1. Those who were never gods, revelation. Historians calculated less than -1% chance that Sumerians, Egyptians, Mayans, and Incas developed pyramids and identical stories of sky gods independently. You connect the dots. Sumer, Anunnaki, core Nordic Pleiadians teaching, then demanding worship. Egypt, Neteru, tall whites living 800 years, building impossible pyramids. Mesoamerica, Quetzalcoatl, Dracos, demanding 80,000 hearts, feeding on terror. Babylon, Enki, Anunnaki, creating Homo sapiens in 15 laboratory attempts. India, Vimanas, a nuclear war between Pleiadians versus Dracos disputing territory. Greece, 57 demigods, Ol's multi-generational hybridization program. Same story, different names, identical patterns. What if they were never gods? Just older species, technologically advanced, not divine. Not divine. They taught agriculture to stabilize populations producing resources, demanded worship because psychological control is more efficient than physical, demanded sacrifices for terror frequency, energetic feeding, created humans mixing primate DNA with theirs, intelligent workers with programmed mortality, warred because Earth was disputed property, not shared planet. Hybridized for long-term genetic infiltration, disappeared because the system runs itself now. Religions perpetuate worship, governments perpetuate hierarchies, genetics perpetuates markers. You look at today's world. We called divine what was advanced, miracle what was technology, worship what was programming. If they were never gods, what were we? Teachers and students? Or farmers and cattle? If you want to know which races are already here, operating invisible, preparing return, activating hybrids, click the video now, subscribe. Next list reveals where they hid, who works with them, and what they plan when the window closes. The timeline doesn't wait for you to be ready. Their preparation is finished. Yours, has it begun?